What is going on, everybody? It is Sunday night, so that means it is time for the I-71 Playbook Podcast. I am BB, and with me, as always, is BC.
Good evening, BB.
You good? You okay?
Sometimes I hate being right. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard being right.
Okay.
But we'll get there.
Right?
I'm pretty sure on this pod.
Other than you being,
go ahead.
Other than you being smug, with your little smug face over there, one step away from doing a smug dance. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
I see the warmer weather has you taking some toys out of the garage.
I got to unplug my 2022 Mustang GT California Special Artemis this weekend, and got to take her for a spin today. Took her to the mechanic so she can get her oil changed, and yeah, God, I love this time of year when I can bring that car out. It's so much fun. So much fun.
Yeah.
She's so mean.
Because she is.
So mean.
I know. But, she's gorgeous and mean and like not unlike some people on this podcast, but mean.
At some point, she'll be on I-71. So, hey, there you go. There's a T-plug. Like and subscribe.
Hey, okay. Get that in early. All right, so let's not beat around the bush.
So why maybe, I don't want to say I'm smug, but I do believe somebody has repeatedly, since Myles Garrett requested a trade, said that Myles Garrett will probably be playing for the Browns next fall. And that there was ulterior motives going on here because it didn't make sense. The Browns would have taken, I just saw a $36 million cap hit had they traded him pre-June 1st.
Right.
The Browns could not trade him. They just couldn't do it, and they weren't going to do it after free agency because teams can't wait around. They can't wait around. The Browns said we're not trading him. Obviously, the Browns weren't taking calls about him.
No.
And a lot of this didn't make sense to me. Now, before I let bygones be bygones, Mr. Garrett, we have to hash some stuff out. I am not ready, as somebody told me today, to go on the healing tour with Myles and feel better. Somebody who might be in this house wearing her Myles Garrett jersey right now.
We love her though. We love her.
To be determined.
Oh,
I hope she's not watching the pod, right? Okay, so anyway,
I hope she is.
So
get that couch ready.
Wouldn't be the first time. Anyway, so long story short, I knew there was something else going on here. I can't wait for the 30 on 30 in about 10 years to talk about what happened here. Myles, I'm still very angry with the way he handled this.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm alone in Browns fandom that are angry.
No.
And as we said, you and I both made it clear, we understand asking for a trade from this crap show that is the Cleveland Browns organization of late. We totally
absolutely.
Not that's not the issue. The issue was the way you go about it, the way you carry yourself. And then just this week, leaks, I'm willing to hold out if I don't get a trade.
Yeah, so a little bit of transparency here. My show prep leading up to about 3.5 hours ago was, he wanted a meeting with Jimmy, and Jimmy said no. And
by the way, kudos to Jimmy Haslam for one time letting his GM do the job. Kudos to Jimmy.
See what happens?
Yeah,
maybe we should try that more often.
I'm completely okay with him not meeting with Myles. I think it was actually the right move, and it turned out to be.
So they both sides dug in, and Myles' camp was saying that he was prepared to sit out games because it was going to get ugly. And then, So if you have been living under a rock and you have no idea what the hell either one of us are talking about, this afternoon, Miles was signed to an extension, a 4-year extension, truthfully.
By the way, I missed on that one. I thought they were going to rip this current contract up and re-sign a new contract. He just gave them control for 2 more years. So they have at least 4 years of control on his contract till 2030.
So 4-year extension, looking at about $40 million a year. 125 and a half of that is guaranteed. So he's getting paid no matter what, and now makes him the highest paid non-quarterback player in the league. So earlier this week, Max Crosby actually got a record-setting deal. They extended him, and he got paid as he should be. And then Miles said, "Hold my headband." But here's my take on it, though. It's when he came out and when he did what he did and how he did it. And again, that's where I'm going to say that's where you messed up, buddy. Is there is a time and there is a place and there is a way to go about this. And like a toddler who lost your balloon, and we're trying to give you another balloon, and I don't want that balloon. I want this balloon. No, that's not how you do this. So absolutely, go take a nap, get a juice box and a cookie, and figure it the hell out. But he's sitting here saying, "I want to compete for a winner. I want a ring. It's not about the money." In the immortal words of Maury, the lie detector test determined that was a lie. Because bullshit. $123 million is guaranteed, and you're like, "I'll make that deal." Would you make that deal? That's a damn good deal.
So, once again, I don't know who was advising Miles. I don't know if we had some thoughts. His representation is Clutch Sports. Okay, that's LeBron's agency.
Right.
They are known to really, and they are masterful at working the media, and they absolutely work the media with this one.
Oh, absolutely.
I just don't understand. I mean, was it behind the scenes? Did the Browns go, "Hey, you know what, Miles, we're going to give you $38 million." And Miles like, "I want 42." And the Browns like, "We can't do that, And Miles like, "Okay,
right.
I want to trade." Is that how just as simple as this was? Or was it, Miles, first of all, came to understand that they could not trade him. Like financially, they couldn't trade him, that their hands are tied.
Could they?
Is it that, he watched other, who we got on to, Trey Hendrickson, because the Bengals are the worst franchise in the world, and they're not going to re-sign the guy who is second to Myles Garrett in the last 3 years in sacks. By the way, it's not TJ Watt. It's Trey Hendrickson.
Oh! TJ Watt is forever catching strays from you, like
all day, every day. Now, Trey Hendrickson's on the market. Bengals made him available trade. Von Miller just got released. Harold Landry just got released from Tennessee.
Yeah.
So, Miles looking, and don't get me wrong, Myles Garrett is the best non-quarterback player in the NFL. Best non-quarterback player in the NFL. I'm not just saying defensively. Best non-quarterback player in the NFL.
That's fair.
I actually think quarterbacks should be in their own category. So I'm saying that, Myles Garrett is probably the best player in the NFL. Okay. Other than that position.
Right.
And I think Miles is looking at the landscape, and the landscape's like, we're going to have to give up 2 couple day 3 or day 2 picks to get him, plus sign him for $40 million. Or I could give up a 3rd round pick to Trey Hendrickson. Or, Von Miller's got some years on him. He's still really productive, still a Pro Bowler, even though, he's a little older.
Right.
I don't have to pay him $40 million and lock him up for 4 years. So I got a feeling somewhere and I don't know who it's come from. Like Miles realizes, and, once again, we never said that Miles wasn't a smart guy. I said he could. I think he was a little naive the way he went about this. But not
I wouldn't even say naive though.
So I know we disagree on that verbiage.
We do, because I'm like, he's intelligent and he's not naive. Like let's call it that how it is.
I think he's very intelligent. I just don't. I think anybody going into a situation like this for the first time, there's a certain naivety because it's a new experience. But anyway, that doesn't matter however I want to phrase it, whatever. He, I think, got a lay of the land. So either he got a lay of the land or his representatives got a lay of the land and said, I am not going to prosper from this. I'm not going to benefit from this. The Browns, if they wanted to trade him, could have traded him to Carolina, could have traded him to Jacksonville, could have traded him to Tennessee, like the other teams drafting high. They could have done that. They could have done that. He'd had no say, and they would have got high draft picks. But I truly, truly believe that somewhere in here, the more I think about it, I just think this was a ploy to get paid. I think he was full of crap when he said that it was about championships, not about money. And once again, we don't fault anybody for trying to get their bag. We don't.
No.
Like, go get your money. We've said that numerous times on this pod. Go get your money. Just, I just don't know how forgiving, at least for now. Maybe in that, first Sunday in September when they take the field, everybody's going to go nuts when he comes out of the tunnel. Maybe that happens.
More than likely.
Probably. Because, when you get down to it, the Cleveland Browns are a much better team than Myles Garrett. Like, they're just, if think about it this way. I was trying to process this today. If Myles Garrett left, you go into a full rebuild. Like you have to tear down the studs and start over. And now you're looking at drafting tons of rookies. You're looking to start shedding salary. But with Myles Garrett, you're not that far away. You're a quarterback play away from being a competing team for a playoff. Like you're that close. Like I'm not one of these people, and we've talked about this, and I've stood by this the entire time of this pod. The Browns aren't that far away. They were a mediocre quarterback away last year from being a competitive team. They just had historically bad quarterback play. Historically bad. So, they're not that far off. So here's what I want the Browns to do. Okay. Once again, I gave kudos to Jimmy. Andrew Berry, dude, you worked some magic on this. Give you kudos. We always give credit where credit's due. But here's what we need to do now. Okay, you got Myles back, like it or hate it. He's going to be back, and the Browns are better for it. Browns defense. By the way, and we have said also, the Browns defense did not play that terrible last year. They were just on the field all the time.
Yes. They didn't play bad. They played a lot.
It's really hard. It's really, really hard to play consistently strong defense when your offense goes 3 and out every freaking time they get the ball. But okay, so early last week, Joel Petonio was like, "I'm coming out of retire. I'm not going to retire. I'm coming back. I'm running it back." Myles like, "I'm running it back. I got my 40 mil." Okay, Andrew, I want you to look at this number here. I know it's backwards. But that is the number 24. That is the number of one Nicholas Jamal Chubb. And Mary Kay put out an article last week, right after our pod, that the Browns were not going to bring Nick Chubb back. Now, if the Browns were to, once again, everybody didn't think Myles was coming back. If the Browns were to let Nick go get his market and say, well, we'll pay you what that market price is, which I think is what's happening here. I don't think Nick Chubb's played his last snap here. I certainly hope not, because I don't want to go get a new jersey. I love this jersey. I love Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is one of my few man crushes. I love Nick Chubb. My favorite football player.
We're well aware. The bromance is strong.
It is. Hey, any guy that's squatting 600, it's real man's game there. So anyway, sign Nick Chubb, bring him back. And while we're at it, I mean, if we're just rolling everybody back, call Tampa Bay up and say, hey, what will it take to get Baker back? We'll give you 3.
Well,
Let's
okay.
get Baker. Did I go too far?
Hold. I like where you're going. I see where you're going. I like it. I can get there. However, Baker just got paid, and they locked him up. Like, they're like,
No, man.
He can't come out to play anywhere. However,
I'm joking, of course, but I won't go back to the glory days of the COVID Browns. Like, let's bring the band back together here.
Well, okay, so it's kind of funny that you mentioned bringing the band back together. Because, yes, that is one of the things that I did have in the show prep that did not go to hell.
Oh, my God.
With a signing today.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, we had to tear all the plans up. And by the way, folks, we made it a point not to discuss our thoughts about this beforehand because of the nature of us having to tear our plans up for the pod.
Right. So we're kind of doing a vintage Bill O'Reilly. F it, we're doing it live. We're going live.
By the way, if you guys haven't seen the Bill O'Reilly or Lawrence O'Donnell rants, just YouTube Bill O'Reilly rant or Lawrence O'Donnell rant. Chef's kiss. Absolutely great stuff. Great stuff. Okay.
The amount of nose candy that are in both of those interviews, like, whoo, it is snowing in July.
Allegedly, because our pod does not have a legal department yet. Allegedly. Okay. Like and subscribe.
So talking about free agency, yes, Nick, he is an unrestricted free agent, which those are 3 of the most terrifying words for any sports fan across the board. So now that you've dealt with Miles, he's sitting off in his corner. He's got his cookie in his bag and his whole thing, and it's going to be headbands for everyone.
That's going to buy a lot of Jurassic Park CDs.
What's that?
Said it's going to buy a lot of Jurassic Park DVDs.
Right on. I am a fan of the dinos. I mean, clearly I have, the pinup dino here. I love the dinos myself. So now, Andrew, it's time to buckle down and to sign Nick. That is your next objective. But also, with free agency, you want to talk about bringing a couple pieces back. And I'm here for it. Because there are a couple of unrestricted free agents that I would love to see back in orange and brown.
I know one
of them is under center.
Okay. Shoot.
The one I would love to see back under center, Cleveland needs another dose of Flacco fever. I'm going to say it right now. And I'll explain why in a minute. But the other one who is an unrestricted free agent who I would absolutely love to see back in Cleveland. And I doubt that the front office will pull the trigger on this because they are some petty bitches. And this is coming from someone who is also has a master's degree in pettiness. Kareem.
I figured that's where you're going.
We need the 1-2 punch of Kareem Hunt and your man crush, Nicholas Jamal Chubb. But see, here's the thing: is if that actually does happen, and at this point, I'm not saying never because this afternoon just made me wrong, and I'll admit it, I was wrong because I thought Garrett was, both feet out the door and gone. So I'll admit it, I was wrong. I think you're right. I don't think Chubb has any indications of leaving Cleveland. Mainly because he's got. Well, hold on. Mainly just because of how his seasons in Cleveland have gone. 2 straight seasons he has gone out on injury. He doesn't want to. That's not what he wants his legacy to be here in Cleveland. So truthfully, I think it's just going to be a matter of reworking whatever needs to be reworked. And as we heard earlier this week, Andrew Berry apparently is a has as an alternate profession. I don't know if you were aware of this or not. He's got a side hustle going on because also once again earlier this week he massaged Diddy Watson's contract again and renegotiated it so that everybody gets a happy ending. This is why I love not giving you what I'm going to tell you, because for that look right there, to make you giggle, it just makes my cold little black heart just sing.
So
clearly he's renegotiating things.
So the Nick Chubb thing, yeah. Let me catch my breath after that one.
You're welcome.
So the Nick Chubb thing to me doesn't make a lot of sense. First of all, you're bleeding support. The Browns are bleeding support. 3 and 14 will do that. This Myles Garrett stuff will do that. The Deshaun Watson started it. They have lost a lot of fans, but there's been one constant. Everybody loves Nick Chubb. Everybody loves Nick Chubb.
Mm-hmm.
And until his gruesome knee injury 2 seasons ago, he was on a Hall of Fame track. He was literally on track to be in a Hall of Fame. Now, this year, it's not going to cost much. It is not going to cost much. It's who better to have in your locker room every day? Who better to have at practice every day? Who better to instill a work ethic to the rest of the team every day than Nick Chubb? And for the price that it would cost you for him to even be your third running back, say he is just not healthy and it's over, which we have both agreed we think he still has good years ahead of him. And he,
absolutely,
we don't think he's done yet. I mean, crap.
Nowhere near.
Saquon Barkley's his age, had a historic year last year. Derrick Henry had a great year. He's 3 years older than Nick Chubb. Like,
I think so. Yeah,
he still got years in him. You know, if that knee holds up, he's going to be fine. So, what does it hurt to bring him back? Give him once again an incentive-laden contract. You know, I don't care if you pencil him in as RB3. Like, that's fine. Let him earn a starting spot back. I don't care. But get that guy back on your team. Get him back on your team. It does so much. It just does good. There's no downside. There is no downside to this. So Nick Chubb. I was really surprised you didn't bring up one person. We'll get to Joe Flacco here because we're going to talk about the free agency primer in a second. But one person I was surprised you didn't mention. Did you see who the Detroit Lions released today?
I did. That kind of hurts my heart. Hey, Za'Darius. Hey, but it's kind of funny that you mentioned Za'Darius because there's a lot of things that I've actually been seeing. This was strictly a cost-cutting move for Detroit because they actually think that they're releasing him to basically re-sign him under a different deal.
Right.
That's kind of the thing that I've seen lately. Once that news broke. Yeah, we were coming back from grocery shopping today, and that's when I saw that. I was like, no! And I told my person, and,
I thought about you immediately when I saw that.
And he's another guy who's a great guy who's on and off the field. Yes, he is a little up there in age. He's still got rubber left on the tires. Like, he's still got some stuff left to go. And I know everybody wants to say that he's the problem and he's the reason why he's gone through so many teams. Okay, so his time in Green Bay, if you actually really want to sit there and you want to talk about it, it was not a good fit for him, clearly. And it was a toxic environment for him. I don't think that he was the sole cause of that. But I also don't think it was beneficial for anybody, clearly. Because there's a lot of bad blood for them.
Not to make any assumptions, but I mean, Aaron Rodgers was just coming into his own right that time, too. Maybe he ran conspiracy by Za'Darius that Za'Darius didn't like so much, or who knows what Aaron Rodgers may have said. Maybe he's not a fan of ayahuasca. Who knows? Yeah, who knows? And by the way, anybody who wants to bring Aaron Rodgers to Cleveland, just stop. No. Yeah.
We have a shit show broken down quarterback. We don't need another one.
No, just stop. Aaron Rodgers is not who you want on your team.
No, he needs to finish the Brett Favre cycle. He needs to finish his career in Minnesota, and then he needs to go out and embezzle money from a charity
and
just finish it all off.
If you meant by a felony, yeah, of course.
Get caught sending out dick pics. I mean, just finish the whole cycle. Because you've already, you won Super Bowls with Green Bay, so did Favre. Favre went to the Jets, you went to the Jets. Kind of. Now it's go to Minnesota, get caught sending out, doodle pics, and embezzle money from a college charity.
Fair.
Goals. Hashtag goals. So
if you are ready, do you want to talk free agency?
Let's get into it.
So the Browns, with the restructuring of number 4s, kicking the cap down or kicking that salary down the road a little bit, the Browns opened up $12 million in cap space. Now people are like, oh, well, that's enough to sign a draft class. I guess the Browns aren't going to sign anybody. No, they're going to sign some free agents, folks. They're going to sign some free agents. We have short memories, but if you remember, it's been like just about the last 4 years where the Browns have had not a ton of cap space, but magically start signing free agency. Like, we're going to start seeing names tomorrow. Tomorrow's the early tampering. I always love this time of year. The Browns are going to sign some people. They probably won't be huge amounts, but they're going to sign some depth.
This time of year, truthfully.
Why is that? I love it.
Because the end of the NHL trade deadline butts right up against the start of the NFL draft and like the trades and the silly season. So my phone goes absolutely insane. Like, I think I'm doing my own, I
said just a few notifications coming across.
I swear to God, I feel like I'm the one who's on SportsCenter now with the amount of times that my phone, a little notification. And then much like everything else that's going on in the world, you see anything with breaking news, and my immediate response, I don't know about you, but at least my immediate response to breaking news is, oh, what fresh hell now? Well,
and the
worst or otherwise.
The worst thing is what they define as notification worthy and breaking news. Like, breaking news: the Guardians scored 3 runs in inning number 5 tonight in the preseason.
Right.
Whatever.
Right. Let's. That's now you're getting into Chicken Little territory, and the sky is falling, and no, just settle down. Have a Snickers. It'll be fine. Relax.
So no, to get back to 12 million cap space, but they have a few avenues to open up cap space, and they will. So a couple things to remember. Tomorrow you're going to hear about signings. Nobody can sign until 4:00 on Wednesday. So 4:00 on Wednesday is actually when free agency opened, but these deals get done in the next couple of days. They just can't officially sign them.
Oh yeah.
So tomorrow at noon, legal tampering starts. And you're going to hear, so-and-so's going here, so-and-so's going there, whatever. When the Browns do sign a couple of people, and the first day or two, they might sign 1 or 2 people. The big names will go first. And you can go on any free agency. We're not going to hash down who's going to get the big money because they're not going to play for the Browns. But just know that the Browns have ways to manipulate the cap where they can sign some free agents. They'll still have plenty of money left for draft picks. They're going to be fine. And back to Miles, what are the implications on the cap for this deal for Miles? 0. It's an extension.
None.
He's going to play for about $25 million in the next 2 years. The $40 million kicks in 2027 when guess whose contract falls off? Andrew Berry. He is good with. We've talked about it. He is good with the cap. He is so good with the cap.
Yeah, he is.
So he knows what he's doing when Miles. And by the way, when Miles's contract kicks in, he's going to be a bargain.
Yeah.
So we're looking at $40 million 2 years from now. There are going to be a lot of guys over $40 million a year. It's like, think about Deshaun Watson's contract. Deshaun Watson's like number 17th now in the NFL at quarterback and pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, these things go up and up. So when this kicks in, like I mean, Myles Garrett is the best deal in NFL right now. He is the best deal in the NFL for payroll, for production. He will be in 2 years when this new deal kicks in. But regardless, let's look at the position groups and see, do we attack this in free agency? Are there some names in there, or do we look at the draft, or both? Okay, and we're going to start right where you led us to, quarterback. Obviously, the only quarterback on the roster right now is DTR. I mean, Deshaun Watson is, but he's going to be on IR and he's not going to be playing. So right now, the only quarterback who can play is DTR. So obviously, they're not starting the season with DTR. As much as we like DTR on this pod, he's not him. And they're going to have to go get a veteran or two or a rookie or two. So, BB, give me your wish list. Give me your free agent. I think we already spoiled that one. And then give me your rookie. Let's talk. I think I know who the rookie is too. So let's go.
So you know what? Yeah, it's not a secret. I would love to see Flacco back here because we're going to have to bring in a veteran quarterback. We're sitting on the number 2 pick. Obviously, they're going to take a QB. They would be stupid not to. I mean, truthfully, they would. Yes, we have other needs,
Agreed.
but we can fill those needs actually in free agency. We can fill a lot of that in free agency. And from what I've heard, on different, posts and blogs and, Mary Kay, the Browns are looking to make a splash in free agency. They're looking to make some noise. So, them signing Judy last year. First of all, I'm really hoping that we're bringing him back, I believe, right? We've got him he wasn't a rental.
No. So Jerry Jeudy was traded for last year, and this is something that I was going to bring up at the end of this. We'll get to it now since you brought Jerry Jeudy up. Andrew Berry has been good every year for a surprise kind of out of nowhere trade where he gets a good player. And that's one where we've talked about, his questionable draft record, but he has been pretty solid on trades. Elijah Moore kind of up in the air, but Jerry Jeudy was a home run. And
absolutely.
And then on top of that, last year he goes for 1,200 yards, has the most yards in Browns history, which I don't think that kind of flew under the radar. He had the most receiving yards in Browns history. I believe, right? I believe so.
I believe you're right.
I think he passed Josh. I think Josh Gordon had it, and I think he passed that. I could be wrong. Correct me in the comments.
I'm not entirely sure. Yeah,
but he had a fantastic year. He had a fantastic year despite historically bad quarterback play, and he got signed for relatively he only signed for just under $50 million for 4 years. And when you look. Yeah, and look, if you look at Justin Jefferson, I think he's making $35 million. They're saying Jamar Chase might get $40 million for a receiver one. Now he's not Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, but he's that next tier down to get him at the price they got him. So I would not be surprised if there's a trade this week. I have no idea. There's no rumors or anything. That's how Andrew Berry he likes to operate. He is able to, I think about Amari Cooper. He did with Jerry Jeudy. He's able to, flip a day 3 pick for a guy who makes a Pro Bowl. Both those guys were Pro Bowlers for the Browns. So, don't be surprised if we get a surprise trade this week. But we're talking Joe Flacco. Who's your rookie? I know who it is.
My rookie is Howard.
Yeah,
my rookie is Howard. I mean. I think, truthfully, I think he's gonna make the jump, and he's gonna be a great quarterback in the NFL. I don't think he's gonna be, the quarterback messiah, but I think he's gonna be a great quarterback, and he's a great kid. Great head on his shoulders. Wish list who I'd love to see that's out there in free agency. I'd love to bring back some some familiar faces. So obviously I want Kareem back. We need that 1-2 punch.
Hold that thought because we're going to go down position group by position group here. So we'll come back to that.
Okay.
I did completely tear up my plans for the free agency primer today because of Miles.
Okay.
So I just want to go back real quick before I talk about my quarterback picks. I want to go back to you real quick because you said take a quarterback number 2 no matter what. But would you take Will Howard number 2?
Yes.
Okay. There it is. And
here's why. And we had this conversation a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, I'm in agreement with you. I'm not absolutely.
I mean, taking a quarterback at number 2, whether it's Will Howard or if it's whoever, don't sit there and do what Cleveland has historically always done, which is, well, we really like this kid, but maybe he'll be there for our next pick. You never know what's going to happen, when it comes to the draft day.
Yep.
You don't. Bo Callahan can go number 7. Who knows?
Draft day reference number 1 tonight. But did anybody go to his birthday? Did anybody go to his 21st birthday? That's what I ask.
But see, here's the thing. Get the quarterback that you want at 2. No bullshit. Get it done. Don't wait, because how many great historic players have the Browns had an opportunity to draft and passed on because they were looking at somebody else?
I don't even want to rehash the past because they've missed so many future Hall of Famers in the last 30 years.
The list is longer than both our quarterback and our head coaching list combined.
Yeah. So there's not jersey long enough for that one.
No. So, here's the deal. I would take Howard at 2. I would. His tape speaks for itself. He is the quarterback for the national championship team. So that is literally, statistically, that is the best college quarterback coming into this draft, who just won a national title. But for some reason, the kid gets hate for whatever reason he does. I don't know. So that's literally who I would take. I know you're on the Cam Ward train. I'm not quite there yet.
I am.
I know, but here's the deal. And to kind of go back to the veteran pick, if we bring in 1 or if we bring in 2, again, I think Flacco would be a great mentor for whatever rookie that we bring in. I really would like to see Justin Fields. I mean, we talked about it last week that he really got a kind of a raw deal in his first couple of years in the league. And with how Stefanski's offense runs, I really think that he would it would be a puzzle piece fit. I mean, I don't think there would be much of an adjustment. I think it would be a great fit, truthfully. So those are my wish list picks for our rookie and veterans.
So a little side note, I was listening to a podcaster I never listened to. I can't even tell you his name. It just popped up in my feed yesterday. And Charles Davis of the NFL Network put out a pod that had the first 3 picks being Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart. And as I've said here, I believe there's going to be at least 4 to 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round this year. I still believe that. Nothing's changed my mind. No, nothing.
Right.
And this guy was like, "Oh, that's crazy! 3 quarterbacks, Jackson Dart in the top 5." And I'm just like, no, that's not crazy. That's how the NFL works. And so, you and I have said from the beginning that you identify your quarterback if it's Will Howard, if it's Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Jalen Milroe, Jackson Dart, Dylan Gabriel. I don't care who it is. You identify your guy. Go get him at 2.
Not Dylan. No, thank you.
Go get your guy at 2.
No, thank you.
Just go get your guy. Don't leave any doubt. Get your guy. Now, that being said, yes.
Write it on a little Post-it note. Let's go.
I would be willing. I'm almost willing right now to, I want Cam Ward. You know, since the beginning of this pod, I've said Cam Ward when it looked like likely the Browns are going to have a top 5 pick. I'm like, you got to do whatever you can to get this kid. Nothing's changed it. Matter of fact, his stock's going up. I would even think about trading up one spot with Tennessee if they're out for sale to get Cam Ward. I would. I don't think it would cost you too much to go up one. Maybe that second, third. They got 2 third-round picks. Give them that second, third. Maybe a pick next year, later round pick next year, and go up and get your guy. If that's your guy. If that's your guy. For me, I think he's the guy. Veteran-wise, something happened this week. Somebody was released that really surprised me. Now, there was some talk about Geno Smith, and I don't know if you saw Geno Smith got traded to the Las Vegas Raiders for a third-round pick.
Where quarterbacks' careers go to die in Vegas.
Well, that kind of leads me to where I'm going with this, because to make room for Geno Smith, right before that trade was pulled off, and there was an indicator the trade was coming, Tom Brady working his magic over there as the de facto, owner of the team and de facto GM. They released a guy who, in the last 2 seasons, has torn up the Browns, who has carved the Browns up, who has run play action and run option against the Browns like a future Hall of Fame. He did it in Indianapolis 2 years ago. He did it for the Vegas Raiders. I saw him in person last year, and I was like, how is this guy not great? Well, he's had a little injury history. But my free agent, I want to be a guy I think you can go to the playoffs with, is a guy named Gardner Minshew. And I want Gardner Minshew on the Browns this year. I was thinking Flacco, and I was thinking Kirk Cousins, and neither one of us like Kirk Cousins. But I was thinking the obvious players out there, Jacoby Brissett, I don't want that. Justin Fields, I think there's still upside, but go get me Gardner Minshew. That dude's a gamer. Teammates love him. When he's healthy, he is a productive starting quarterback in the NFL. He's not a guy who's going to come in there and, try to destroy the ego of a young quarterback. He knows his role. He will accept a bridge quarterback role. You can get him fairly cheap to offset Watson's contract, and get your rookie, whoever it is, Will Howard, Shador, Cam Ward, I don't care. Go get your rookie at 2, and let's roll. Let's do it. And that's where I'm at quarterback. So give me Cam Ward and give me Gardner Minshew.
Okay. I did see that that Minshew was released this week. It was trying to keep up with
There's a lot.
Who's getting released and well, see, like I said, it's not only coming from the NFL for me, it's also who's going where for the NHL. So there's also that. I can get there. You know what? And you're not wrong. Minshew actually gives me a little bit of a vintage Baker vibe. A little bit. I can kind of see it.
There's a lot of each other's game in there. They're both fiery. They both have terrible stashes at sometimes, and they both have Gardner Minshew does not have Baker's arm. Baker does not have his mobility. But they both have, Minshew has a good arm. He doesn't have Baker's cannon. Baker can escape and extend plays, and he did some magic last year. There were some highlights. Right. My God, that just even for Baker blew me away. But Minshew can do that kind of stuff, and he can run. So when you roll him out in a play action and you roll him out wide and there's nothing open, he's going to run for 10 yards, and he's going to pick it up easily.
I have a really important question, though, and I need Gardner, if you're listening, buddy, I got to know how you feel about Philly Collins. I got to know. What are your thoughts on pregame drum solos?
He could feel it in the air tonight. That's what he feels. That's what he thinks about Philly Collins. So let's go on to running back. You said bring back Kareem.
I did.
We both agree Nick Chubb should be a Cleveland Brown next year. He should never ever suit up for another team. Jerome Ford, I think we both agree, is not a number 1 back. So you're going to have to get somebody else. In free agency, J.K. Dobbins is out there. That's a name I've heard floated around for the Browns. I like J.K.
I would not
Dobbins.
be upset about that. I love JK. I loved him, I loved him in Columbus, and I would love, like, I've been following his career since he was drafted. I'm glad he got out of Baltimore because that was making it really, really hard to root for him. He caught some success in San Diego. Also has a little bit of the injury bug, unfortunately. So I would love to see him. I mean, that is a great pick, and he is out there.
There are two positions in the draft that are loaded, and running backs one. And I saw a pre-draft primer video that said that upwards of 30 running backs can be taken in this year's draft.
Mm-hmm.
And there's your Ashton Genties, your Amariana Hamptons, those guys, Caleb Johnson's, first round, top of second round kind of guys. And you got the Ohio State guys. I mean, there are so many good running backs coming out. So I think you go the cheap way. You get Nick Chubb back. You got Jerome Ford. Maybe you put Pierre Strong on the practice squad, and then you go get a rookie, and there's your running back. So I say hit it with the draft. Look at a wide receiver. Okay, we talked about Jerry Jeudy earlier. Cedric Tillman should be back and healthy. Do you bring Elijah Moore back? Elijah Moore is an unrestricted free agent. Do you try to bring him back? That pause spoke volumes.
Ooh.
So let me preface this.
I'm thinking no.
But here's my thing. Once again, he has not had good quarterback play since he's been here.
That is fair.
Except for with Joe Flacco, and he played really well when Joe Flacco was throwing the ball. Second of all, we have no depth at wide receiver. Like, there's just not a lot there. That is
true. Yeah.
And so you got to get some depth. And I think they're going to sign a free agent, maybe an older free agent, and I think they're going to draft somebody too. But they have to. I mean, I have Jerry Jeudy's number one, Cedric Tillman, if he's your number two and can stay healthy, I'm all down for that. But you got to get some depth. So I think you bring Elijah Moore back. I don't think his market's going to be too terribly high, and go get an older free agent and draft a rookie somewhere.
Well, there is a name that I did see, and again, bringing back some familiar faces. How do we feel about Amari?
I don't think Amari wants to come back. And I don't know anything. Like, I don't have any inside info. There just seemed to be some bad blood there that guy did not look like he wanted to play in Cleveland, and it might have been his quarterback. It might have.
I think it was the quarterback. Truthfully, I think it was.
Yeah, it could have been him playing for early on with Watson. But I will tell you, I'm not a fan of anybody who kind of dogs it. And for the first time I've ever seen Amari Cooper, he looked like he was dogging it last year. So, I don't know if I bring him back. Again,
I called it out early to midway through the season, is the fact that who wasn't dogging it? Because before the Achilles the Achilles pop heard around the world. I mean, he was sacked in one game. Sacked, what was it, 7 separate times?
Oh yeah.
At that point, and I understand, yes, the O-line had their issues and it was banged up and blah 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 blah. And you had different guys marching in there and out of there and whatever. And you had it the season before under 5 separate quarterbacks under center. And they managed to get the job done. However, at that point, they didn't want to block for him. I'll get my little tinfoil hat out on all day long. They didn't want to block for him. 7 times in a game, you've pissed off your front line. There's nothing that you can tell me about that.
I will say this for Amari. Go ahead.
And I think the rest of the offense was feeling a little bit that way too. Because I don't. Why are we going to go out there and bust our ass when we're getting open, we're running our routes, we're where we need to be, and he's standing in the backfield like a deer in headlights and just holding on to the ball? I would be pissed too. So, I mean, there could be bad blood. Who knows? He did have some success here.
Well, Mari's most productive stretch of games was with Joe Flacco in his career.
Right.
His most productive stretch of games was with Joe Flacco. So, I mean, he had a great 2 seasons with the Browns. He really did. So, hey, I'm not saying no. I'm just saying, like, I just don't like the body language. I don't like. But you're right. He probably wasn't the only guy.
No.
So, moving on to tight end. We have one tight end on the roster right now. That's David Njoku. So Chiefs there, and there is nobody else. So we're gonna say what, free agency and draft. Now, in my dream scenario, okay, so another one of my draft crushes. You know, I'm all about Cam Ward.
Right.
I'm all about Cam Scadaboo. I also am all about Tyler Warren, but there's no way Tyler Warren's going to get to us at 33.
No,
because my God,
I would love to see it.
Oh,
yes,
I'd love that guy. I would love that guy playing for the Browns. Just man, he does everything. So yeah, you got to get a tight end. It's a good thing the Browns have 11 draft picks because there's some holes in this roster they got to fill. Offensive line.
That's what I said. Stock the pantry.
Yeah, absolutely. Offensive line. We got Batonio coming back, Teller coming back. Posick and Conklin are both under contract, but could be cut for salary cap reasons. I would hope they keep both of them. I really would hope they keep both. Left tackle. That's a question. That's a legit question because we don't know where DeJuan Jones is going to be. We don't know. So I have a feeling there's a couple left tackles. They're not talking Pro Bowlers, but there's a couple left tackles that fit Kevin Stefanski's scheme and free agency. I think that's going to be one of the bigger signings. And it's not going to be a huge signing, but it's not going to be a sexy signing. But they're going to get a guy who can play left tackle in case DeJuan Jones is not ready. And that might be pick number 33 for the Browns. They might. There's going to be some in the mocks. There's a couple starting caliber left tackles that are always there at 33. So I truly believe that they could get one of those first 3 picks, get a starting offensive lineman. Defensive line was a concern for me, and the day happened, and now I think it's a strength of the team. They just need to get some depth.
There is someone who is on the offensive line that is an unrestricted free agent that I was looking at earlier that I would not be sad if they left.
Oh, I know.
Actually, I'm hoping for it. I'm counting on it. I pray.
Talk about. Are you talking about body language business decision?
I am. I believe it is a full business decision that Jedrick Wills Jr.
Oh, yeah.
Get the F out, man. Go.
Yeah,
because you want to talk about not wanting to be here.
Yeah.
And again, I said it all season long last year is the fact that the O-line was not going out there and giving 110% because they didn't believe in the person that was under center for the majority of the season. And I get it. Trust me. I'm there. Right. I'm right there with you because I wouldn't block for him either. But when you do that, and then the bullshittery of, well, I'm not feeling it today, guys. I don't want to. I'm gonna sit this one out. That's almost as bad as Richardson going to his coaches on the sidelines in Indianapolis, going, "I'm tired, boss. I'm real tired." So you want to sit down and then gets in the press when a rookie takes your spot and takes your starting spot, and then you go into the press and bitch about it. No, absolutely not.
Jed Wills will never play in their him and Deshaun Watson will never play in their down in Browns uniform. Once again, I'm sure of that. So defensive line, once again, Miles solidifies it. Now you're going to bring Alex Wright back. Isaiah Isaiah McGuire played really, really well at the end of the year. Mike Hall, when he was on the field, played really, really well. You're going to need a little more depth on the line, but that's definitely a strength now. He just brought back the future Hall of Famer who's in the prime of his career, should have been, arguably should have been Defensive Player of the Year again this year. Could have been 2 years ago. Best player, like I said, best player in the game probably. Linebacker, holy crap. We don't know. JOK's MIA. We don't know what's going on with him, which is a shame because what a career he started having. We hope he's healthy. First of all, I'd love to see him back on the field, but my God, I hope that kid is all right. Like I said, we don't know anything, and that's the worst part is we don't know anything.
No.
So linebacker has to be addressed. I think the Browns don't prioritize linebacker. So, I'm thinking probably a couple of cheap. They got Diabate back. Trying to think. I'm drawing a blank on the linebacker room right now, but they're not going to spend big there, and they're not going to draft high there. That's for sure.
No, and you're right. That's one of the things that they don't prioritize when they really should. Especially when it comes to the O-line. If you're drafting a rookie quarterback, maybe you protect your high draft pick toy, but we don't have a history of doing that in Cleveland for first round quarterback picks historically anyway. But no, both sides of the line, you definitely need. The depth chart is next to nothing. So again, go out, stock the pantry, cut dead weight. But it's kind of funny that you bring up Michael Hall, because that's actually something I did have for show prep this week.
Okay.
Yesterday, again, breaking news alert, that the Kansas City Chiefs breakout rookie, Xavier Worthy, was arrested early morning.
I did not see this.
Yeah, I believe it was late Friday night, so it all broke Saturday morning, that he was arrested for a domestic situation. It was impeding the breathing or circulation of a family member or a house member, which is a pretty stiff penalty in Texas, which is where this happened. Anywhere from 2 to 10 years in jail, upwards of a $20,000 fine. So it came out now this morning that he will not be charged. And it seems that it was a case of he was trying to ask a female to leave his house, and it did not go well. So law enforcement was called. Things happened. So you're like, why are we talking about this on a podcast that deals with Cleveland sports? Well, this time last year, our rookie, Michael Hall Jr., got in a very, very public fight with his baby mama. So my question is, though, should it be on the team, or should it be in that defensive room that someone takes these rookies aside and are like, don't do dumb shit? Because I understand, like, relationships can be toxic and whatever, and it's a he said, she said type deal. I get it. However, when you are in the public eye, especially with Hall, because he was a breakout at Ohio State,
By the way, I was super excited the Browns took him because I thought he was just
I was too.
For some reason, he did not play every snap at Ohio State, but man, when he was on the field, he was a game wrecker. And I thought he was an under the radar great pick. And he played well this year. Like, he did play well when he was on the field. When he
finally got onto the field, he played amazing. Yeah. But when we drafted him, and then when we drafted, oh God, what was the kid? The offensive lineman that we took this year, was it Zinter?
Yeah. Yep.
I wanted to be a fly on the wall the first day of practice, truthfully, because the year before, or a couple months before, actually, before they got drafted,
Mike Hall.
Mr. Mike Hall broke Zach Zinter's leg during the game. So I kind of wanted to be a fly on the wall just to kind of see how that happened. Like, my bad, buddy. Sorry about that. We good? I don't know. But I don't get why you don't have the wherewithal, because again, you're at a high profile school, such like Ohio State. And no, he didn't play every down, but when he was on the field, you're right, he was an absolute monster. He was a menace in the best way possible. And when we saw him on the field last season, when he finally got in for Cleveland, dude's tearing it up.
There's one thing there was a noticeable difference with the Browns defense last year in the second half. And if you notice, like their defensive rankings started getting better. Like they were like in the bottom. They were like in the bottom 7 or 8, and they ended up mid-pack. A lot of people don't realize they ended up middle-pack defense last year. And that
it was like the Jeffersons. They just kept moving on up. It was great.
And that all corresponded with Mike Hall being on the field. Like he made that, and Isaiah McGuire's kind of, emergence as a starting defensive end. Those two guys, like that defense just got progressively better. Miles didn't have to do everything himself.
Right.
But I think to get to your point, I think this is a bigger issue for the Browns. And once again, it's not just the Browns that deal with this issue. You just said
no, clearly.
I mean, this isn't the first time the Chiefs had to deal with it. They deal with it with Kareem. I think Andrew Berry. Okay, buddy, let's talk here real quick. Just a little heart to heart. Character matters.
Bring it in, bud.
Character matters. And this is not a shot at Mike Hall or Perrion Winfrey or Deshaun Watson or whoever else you brought in, Jadeveon Clowney, that, have had some character issues in the past. Character matters. So bring in more Nick Chubbs. Don't bring in somebody with a problem background and leave Nick Chubb out to free agency. Get Nick Chubb in here. Get Nick Chubbs in here. Get good guys. Get Joel Bitonio's in here. Get those kind of guys. And, you win or lose with good men. And once again, it's not a shot at anybody in particular. Just when you're drafting this year, and I know you'll see that unicorn on your board at 33, make sure he's a good dude. Make sure the background check comes back clean. And just draft good guys. Seriously, like we don't want any more headaches. We just got done with the Miles thing. We have now put Deshaun Watson in our rearview mirror. Okay, let's start afresh tomorrow. Let's sign some good guys. Let's draft some good guys, and win or lose next fall, give us a team we can be proud of.
Right, and see, and the whole thing with Kareem. Okay, so Kareem and Jadeveon Clowney are actually two really great examples. KC caught him, and I'll admit, when we signed Kareem the first time, I was a little, I wasn't thrilled.
And then you get a hold of me, and I goes, "Did you actually see the video?"
Right, and then I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, hold on a minute."
When you actually see the video, like, it's not as cut and dry as the media made it out to be. Like, I'm not saying that Kareem didn't have something to do with it, but that woman, he was being attacked. like there. It
wasn't the Ray Rice situation.
No. That woman was
Um,
coming at him. So
Yeah.
But anyway,
but for Kareem though, he put his head down. It was all about the work, and he let his character speak on the field. And again, being teamed up with Chubb, they were such an amazing team. Why they actually don't put Chubb in the backfield and Kareem in the slot or switch it, I'll never know.
In the back, just put them in the back, both backfield. Like I just never understood.
Right,
that.
like just because you can't block us both, figure it out. But Kareem got he got an absolute second chance here. And I love to see it. And again, and I said this before, one of the first things that he said to Andy Reid, he went right up to Andy Reid when he landed back in KC last season, shook his hand and said, I'm not gonna let you regret this. And the same thing with Jadeveon Clowney. He came in to us fresh off of a little bit of a hiccup in his personal life, and went out there and busted ass on the field for us. So,
I mean,
yes, character doesn't. Well, okay, I wouldn't say busted ass. But
year one, I'll give you. Year two, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
But he wasn't a problem. The production fell off after year one, but he wasn't a media problem, is what I'm saying. Like, it's not. Believe me, Cleveland is enough of a circus. Okay, they should name whatever wherever it's going to be. I know we've gone through like 16 different names for Brown stadiums in the last 20 years. At this point, it's going to be called the Big Top because it's a goddamn circus. But we don't need to bring in things that are going to add another ring. We don't need to have them running out to the Calliope music and the Browns are coming out of the back of a Ford Fiesta because it's just one after the other. It's a clown show. We don't need it. We're good. So yes, character does matter, but I also get taking a second chance. So just don't do dumb shit.
I'm so tired of drama. I'm so tired of drama with this football team. And it's so hard when you watch
grown ass men, and you have more drama than middle school girls.
And you sit here and you watch the Guardians. You watch the Guardians, you watch the Cavs, and there are not two more likable teams in professional sports than those two teams. And then in the fall, we have the most unlikable team at times with the Browns. And like, and like I said, once again, I have no problem giving second chances, but some of his second chances don't work out. And let's just get guys without character problems, please. Just one year. Give me one season, just one season. One season
where I'll take the drama on the field, close games, come from behind wins, whatever. I'll take that kind of drama. Yes. Don't give me, a guy that we just drafted who has broken himself because he can't ride a goddamn motorcycle in a parking lot.
And that was, by the way,
now he can't play.
And that was my original thought, over 3 years ago. I'd rather lose with 52 Nick Chubbs than win with one Deshaun Watson. And yes. I'm still there, and I hope that's been a lesson, and I hope they are taking their medicine now, like it is happening. But real quick, just to finish off, we got the defensive backfield. I would say this is about the only place that you can really look and go, hey, they can use their safety, and then I think they'll get a cheap safety and range it. Cornerback room is still strong. You still have three good Martin Emerson, Greg Newsome, and obviously, Mr. Ward. And
if Mr. Ward can stay healthy,
yeah, and I mean that's always the thing. But when he's top 3 cornerback in the league. So I'm not so much worried about. It doesn't look like they're going to trade Greg Newsome, and they might even give him his fifth. They might even give him an extension this year. It's not going to be a terribly costly extension. His production has not warranted a terribly high top 20% cornerback kind of contract extension. So you can keep him on the relative cheap. He's productive. He's not we've had our issues with him, but he's not great. But he's a solid cornerback. Martin Emerson
only when we play Pittsburgh because him and Pickens don't get along.
And he's locked down on Pickens. George Pickens don't like playing the Browns. Martin Emerson, Martin Emerson kind of regressed last year, but still a good cornerback. And then, once again, nothing much more than we could say about the Warden. So anyway, that is kind of our free agent preview primer for this week. What's good? I think the Browns will spend. They won't spend ridiculous amounts of money. They're not going to be in on the big, the top 5 guys probably. I mean, they've done weirder things. I think that there will be a trade or two this week with the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, late round draft picks for some gems because Andrew Berry's always good for that. And after this week, we're gonna really start picking up draft talk because we're about 6 weeks away from the
Okay.
draft right now.
I
So
know.
number 2,
Ooh.
go get your quarterback, guys. Go get your quarterback.
Yeah.
I got a feeling we're gonna be texting a lot this week, BB.
Probably. Probably. Real quick, I know the Cavs tipped off about 15 minutes ago up against in Milwaukee. 13-game heater now. They're just burning it up. I'm so excited for them.
And by the way, that was a big part of my pouring up script for tonight. Thank you, Miles. By the way, co-owner of the Cavs, Miles Garrett, screwing up my Cavs talk tonight. Oh no, they are just wonderful to watch. They are just so wonderful.
Absolutely.
I mean, can't be proud of a team. And if you haven't seen, I don't know, did you see Charles Barkley's rant this week?
I did actually.
And he was 100% correct. If you didn't see it, Charles Barkley just pointed out why some in the national media are trying to, prop up the Lakers and the Warriors when the Cavs and OKC have been doing this all year and have been by far the best 2 stories in the NBA this year.
Mm-hmm.
And Charles, like Charles always does, you're going to get his brutal honesty, and it was hilarious and spot on.
It always is.
If you haven't seen it, please, just go Charles Barkley Cavs rant. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Speaking of rants, and this actually can kind of tie back a little bit. Speaking of the Lakers, someone who I know is not very high on either one of our favorites lists. Did you hear what happened with one Stephen A. Smith earlier in the week?
Was it? So I heard something that you picked a fight with LeBron or something. Is this one?
Kind of. So basically, Stephen A. Smith went on an absolute rant about Bronny.
Oh,
and
don't go after man's son.
No. It was not favorable. So at the Lakers game the other night, LeBron pretty much went over to him, and it was not quite Chris Rock and Will Smith at the Oscars. The vibe was there, though. It was definitely keep my son's name out your effing mouth. No hitting. But see, the thing that kind of made me snicker a little bit watching this is afterwards, which is watching Stephen A. Smith on his show the next day talk about the conversation. Now, he does not back down from anything. He will stand 10 toes down. He'll double down every time. He'll never admit he's wrong.
I'm not a huge Stephen A. fan, but he is strong with his convictions.
I am not. I am absolutely not a Stephen A. fan at all. But to watch him backpedal was almost like the man deserves an Oscar, because you would have he was so somber and so.
I have to watch this.
You got to look it up. You got to go look it up
this week.
You would have thought he was a news announcer and announcing a plane crash with no survivors. Just the somberness and the gravitas in his voice was like, someone got taken down a couple pegs, and he's short, so he doesn't have a lot shorter to go. And he was like, LeBron came to me as a father and was like, don't do this. So on one hand, I'm kind of giggling about it, but at the same time, though, when your son was drafted, where he was drafted, and to who he was drafted, solely because of who his father is, the kid is not there's no reason why he should have been drafted as high as he was. Let's be honest. He should not have left college when he did.
He shouldn't have been a draft pick, but he's a draft pick because he's Bronny James, and we know that.
Right. So I see both sides of it. It was just funny as hell to watch because, again, Stephen A. Smith does not back down in Stephen A. Smith's opinions.
So
unless LeBron James is literally looking down at him and taking him to school.
And here's the thing too about LeBron. Like LeBron can easily call up the network and say, "You're done. Cut off. I'm cutting. There's no more access to me. There's no more access to any of the athletes in clutch sports. We're done."
Mm-hmm.
And Stephen A. would have been. So
right.
Stephen A. had to backtrack, and
absolutely.
He had no choice because, like, literally, his career is probably on the line. I don't think people realize how powerful LeBron is, but he is the most powerful man in sports, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe there's a soccer player out there that's up there with him, but when it comes to American sports, there's no more powerful person in sports than LeBron James. And being in the NBA where they are empowered more than any other sport, like he is literally the king. And yeah, I have to imagine. I can't wait to watch this because that sounds like must see TV. Because to see Stephen A. get humbled is yeah. And once again, you need to pick your battles. You know, I guarantee you, if you just had absolute critiques of Bronny's game, LeBron's not going to come at you. But if I have to imagine, and you've seen it, Stephen A. probably made it a little personal. And probably went a little over the top like he can. And when you do that, then that's not a player critique. That's a human critique. And any parent's going to say, "You're not going to talk about my kid that way." I got no problem. I got no problem with LeBron. Yeah, I got no problem with LeBron being a dad, especially
and that's what he did.
By the way, a guy who grew up without a dad. Talk about being protective of his kids. You know, and so. Yeah, I gotta watch it. Yeah, you just give me some stuff to do tonight. Little
You're welcome.
Little homework. Little post pod homework. Love it. So I think with that, next week we're gonna have a lot of content next week. That's all I know. The Browns are gonna look different. Hopefully the Cavs keep rolling. Guardian, we're getting close to opening day, BB. We're getting there. We're almost beginning of April. It's coming. And hey, this week, 60s and 70s.
Really?
I don't know what you're getting up there in Michigan, but I'll tell you down here, it's going to be nice out all week.
It is not. I don't know. It was almost 50 today, so that was nice. I actually don't know what it's supposed to be this week. I don't know. I don't think we're getting 60s and 70s. That's for
we got the end of the week. We got the end of the week 60. I saw 70, like 73 by Friday. Pretty awesome.
Wow. God bless global warming. Oh my goodness. So I believe with all of that being said, unless you have anything else this week?
That's a wrap.
That's
Good
a wrap.
Pod. Great pod, partner.
All right. So from the dog pound to the shoe and everything in between, I'm BB.
I'm BC.
And this has been the I-71 Playbook Podcast.